tax season is coming up. Now the question is, should you submit an income tax return for the 2019 tax year? My name is Jacques Taljaard, this is Practitioner Accounting Services, and if you're new to my channel, you'd usually find videos in topics such as accounting and tax, such as this one, which is talking about should an individual submit an income tax return for the year. Okay. Now, SARS has recently started sending out communication. You would have seen billboards, you would have heard this on the radio, you would have seen this on TV and in social media, where they say that they've increased the threshold to 500,000 Rand. So if you earn less than 500,000 Rand, you shouldn't submit an income tax return. Now, I'm sorry to be the messenger of bad news, but that is not necessarily the case. That is not the only criteria that has to be in place in order for you to not submit an income tax return for the 2019 year. The problem is that is the message that is implied by that marketing campaign from SARS, and as usual, in my opinion, this wasn't well thought through. People tend to just see, ooh, 500,000, I don't have to submit, and then that's not the case. So the 4 criteria that has to be complied with, that has to be fulfilled before you are exempted from submitting an income tax return. First is that 500,000 Rand threshold. You have to earn less than 500,000 Rand for the year. The second one is that your income must be from one employer. You must only have one IRP5 from a single employer. They deduct the PAYE, paid over to SARS, just one employer, right? So if you're working part-time, or you're a subcontractor for a different company here and there, I'm sorry, the bad news is you have to submit your tax return. The third criteria is that you cannot earn any other income except from your salary from this one employer. That means no interest received, that means no dividends received, that means no rental income from an investment property, that means no donations, no profit share, nothing. Salary from an employer. That's the third one. No other income. Right. So then the fourth criteria is that you should not have any other tax deductible deductions. So no expenses from tax allowed, in the sense that you do not have a retirement annuity, you do not have medical aid, you do not have travel expenses, you do not have a travel allowance that you are going to claim from. You have none of this. You also don't have a travel allowance. You can't have a travel allowance. It's one of the criteria for number 2. So those are the 4 criteria that have to be fulfilled in order for you to be exempted from submitting your income tax return. Now, as of today, which is the 27th of June when I'm recording this, there has been cases where people did not have to submit tax returns in 2018, and then SARS assessed them anyway with a simulated assessment, and they have to pay tax on that simulated assessment, whether that amount is accurate or not. The case is very simply that you did not have to submit, so you have to take what SARS says. And if you want to object to that assessment, then you have to submit anyway. So the principle here is that if you want to make sure SARS assesses you accurately, submit. The principle is if you do not comply with any of those 4 criteria, if you don't fulfill any of all 4 of them, not any, all 4 of them, then you have the option of, well, then you have to submit. If you expect that you will need a tax clearance certificate for yourself or for your company within the next year, submit. In the distant future, submit. My recommendation is rather submit your income tax return. Right. This is an exemption of submission. It's happened in the past where people were allowed to, or where taxpayers were exempted from this requirement to submit, and then SARS went ahead and levied administrative non-compliance penalties because they did not submit. Think about that. SARS gave this exception, and then they levied a penalty that you literally exercised your right under this exception. Companies and provisional taxpayers, unfortunately, you will have to submit. Individuals that comply with those four, it's up to you. It is your choice, really. My recommendation is, even if you do it yourself, just log on to e-filing and submit. And if you think your tax return might be a little too complicated for you to do it on your own, get in touch and we can do it for you. That's what we do. So the principle is, I've explained when and how you can get away with not submitting, but rather be safe than sorry, and just submit. You'll thank me. My name is Jacques Taljaard. This is Taljaard Accounting Services, and I hope you have a great weekend.